Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. It's your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief, APGAINS, and I'm here to beg, to plead, to grovel at your feet for you guys to take this particular set of 3 conquests seriously, especially if you're free to play. But if you're a whale, you're still going to have to do this just as hard, because this is the most important conquest. This is by far the most important conquest that we've ever had. Lots of people are poo-pooing it. They're like, oh, this ship is a marquee type ship. This is not worthy of conquest. They're idiots. If you hear them say that, you no longer listen to them because they're idiots. Let's hop into conquest and at least sign up before I forget. Why is this the most important conquest, you may ask? The ship doesn't look that good. The ship is good. If you don't think the ship is good, you haven't read the kit. Let me break it down for you. We have a very stale fleet meta in the game. We have a very stale fleet meta in the game. It all comes down to how many capital ships do you have. At certain levels, you need 4 capital ships to be competitive in GAC. Some you only need 1 on defense, 1 on offense. Executor, un-one-shottable for the most part. You can one-shot it, but it is stressful. Besides the Executor, the Malevolence and Negotiator have been at the top of the fleet meta for as long as babies were born. Predates COVID-19. These guys have been around for a very, 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 very long time at the top of the meta, but Chimera is coming for them. Good old Chimera, Thrawn, long may he reign over the Empire of the Hand or whatever. I can't remember what it's called the last time I read the books. It was a long time ago. This is going to be the new Negotiator. This is going to be the new Malevolence, and this is going to be your key to free-to-play countering the Executor. Why do I say this? Let's go in and break down something that not a lot of people talked about. A lot of people just kind of glanced over the rework to the TIE Advanced. But if you notice down here, at the start of the battle, if all allies are Empire, Inquisitorius, or Sith, and the Interceptor is in the reinforcement slot, all Empire capital ship cooldowns are reduced by 1, including call reinforcements. You get a turn 1 reinforcement, which is going to be a huge advantage when going against Executor or Malevolence or Negotiator, just being able to break up this fleet meta just a little bit. So we go in here, turn 1 reinforcement. If you have this maxed out, which I, for some reason, do not. Maybe I don't have them gear 11 or whatever. Here, instantly defeat enemy and deal physical damage has a cooldown of 4. Dispel all debuffs, blah, blah, blah. Increased all cooldowns on enemy capital ship by 1. Except call reinforcement, this ability. So this ability right here is fantastic. A 4-turn cooldown. So you take your first turn, you call reinforcement. Another turn goes by. You're getting another cooldown reinforcement. You're getting a turn 1 reinforcement, and you're going to have a turn 3 annihilate. You're going against the Executor. What's the problem with Executor? You can't get Houndstooth out. They keep recovering health and protection. They're getting target locks and everything. Okay, sure, you can do all that mumbo jumbo. We're going to have more ships than you on the first turn, and then on the third turn, your Houndstooth ceases to exist, and we can select our tank, which is probably our bomber, or our TIE Advanced, or whatever it is that's about to die. Boom! He's back, full health and protection. Cooldowns are reduced on the Executor, which means they can't get out the healing. They're 1 more turn away from the Death Star ability, They can still bring in the reinforcements, but this is pushing all of that back, getting out the Houndstooth. Once the Houndstooth out, what's left? Turn 3, it'll be 1 reinforcement. So you have Razor Crest. What's I don't remember what the reinforcement meta is. Is it IG reinforcement? It's Boba turn first reinforcement. So you have Boba, Razor Crest, and Xanadu. You're pushing out offense again because you're getting Foresight. They're harder to hit you. You're doing good damage. The Empire fleet is a good fleet. It does some good stuff. Houndstooth is gone. Their cooldowns are reduced. You're moving along. The reason that this is so important, not only because this is going to... Will this one-shot the Executor? Absolutely not. The Executor will still beat this head-to-head, especially because Executor fleets are going to have full relicate everything. You're going to need a really strong Empire fleet, and those are pretty steep requirements to invest in. You don't want to gear 8 Gar Saxon and Super Commando, you know what I mean? But... for those of you guys who need more fleets because you're overperforming in GAC, matchmaking is shooting you up against people with way more GP than you, this is going to be your secret to two-shotting the Executor. Right now, I have good fleets. I have good fleets for where I'm at in the game. I have really good fleets. I win a lot of GACs solely because my fleets are amazing. If I face a 4, 5, 6, 7-star Executor on defense, it doesn't matter what I do. It's kicking my butt. I literally have no chance of beating it, and I'm way above the normal player at my level in terms of fleets, right? This is going to give me and you guys, and especially free-to-play, I think free-to-play, this is like one of the greatest gifts they've ever given us. This is going to give us a way to get out Houndstooth early, because will the battle last long? Well, it depends on how highly relict your Empire fleet is under Chimera, how fast they are, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But can you survive? Can you survive 3 turns? Yes, you can survive 3 turns. Houndstooth's dead. You can come in. You don't even need to come in with the Executor counter of Malevolence and stuff like that. You know, you don't need to come in with the Malevolence counter and then use tie and then hope you dodge and then hope they kill a bunch of Ultra Droids and then, you know, EMP them and then get them down. Because Houndstooth's dead. There's no tank. You can just go after whatever you want. You can do your offense. You can bring in an offensive Malevolence fleet that's optimized and not set for the counter. You can bring in Negotiator. Negotiator previously has had no real success against the Executor, but now with no Houndstooth, you just have all of the offensive Negotiator. You can bring in Rebels, for God's sakes. Rebels is a highly offensive fleet. You know, a lot of you guys have different fleets because you go different routes. You know, maybe you went JML early, so you have a bunch of high-level Rebels, so you went Rebel fleet, so your Biston, your Cassian, all this stuff is highly up and running. Mine's not. But this fleet does high offense. There's no Houndstooth. You come in, you boom, boom, boom. You're getting assists with Millennium Falcon. You're doing good damage. You know, you're healing a little bit. You're calling double assists. You know, you can go in. Maybe that leads to a 2-shot. Probably you can make that work depending on, you know, if they're all steezed out, Relic 8, Relic 9 out of their minds. But definitely, Chimera in first, Houndstooth's out. Maybe you kill Razor Crest or you kill Xanadu Blood or you get something else out, right? And then Malevolence, Negotiator, either of those ships are going in. That is going to be pretty much a guaranteed 2-shot. It's going to be pretty much a guaranteed 2-shot. Now, instead of going in and thinking like, oh, this guy has Executor, like I have to prevent him from beating my ships. So instead of thinking, I have to make sure he can't pass through my top zone, because if it comes down to ships, he has Executor, it's an auto loss, right? And that's why I don't like Executor. I think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to this game, because it is an auto loss. Executors are auto loss if one person has it and the other guy doesn't. Now, you can play that defense a little bit differently. You can try to get a couple of holds. You can maybe, you know, go a weaker defense knowing that, you know, maybe he's going to drop a couple battles in your bottom zone, blah, 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 and you have a reliable 2-shot counter to his Executor, and you're feeling good. Now this opens up the door for people who didn't have 4 million GP, you know, almost a year ago when the Razor Crest was out. People who can't afford to take away from their farms by spending 600 crystals a day on Razor Crest shards to get Executor. You know, people who can't whale on Relic 8s if they're newer players. This gives the free-to-play players a shot. It gives us a chance. And I don't know if CG intended to give us a chance to kind of combat the Executor, because they said this is not going to be an Executor counter, but, you know, when you're dealing in the free-to-play against people who have big, bad toys, like, giving us a chance is all we need. All we need is the chance. You know, Han Solo said something, I'm sure Finn said something less elegantly in the sequel trilogy about giving us a shot. The spark of the Resistance and whatnot. But Capital Games, knowingly or unknowingly, gave us a shot to bring down the king that is Executor. I'm happy. You guys better take this seriously, because this is our one chance. Even if you're doing normal Conquest, make the most of it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to get 14,000 subscribers by the end of February. As always, I love you, and I'll see you later.